A farmer was going to throw his elderly mother into a mountain. On the way, nobody said a word. Their hearts were both heavy with sorrow. He carried his mother over one mountain after another, crossed countless wooden bridges, heading towards the mountain where abandoned elders were left to die. Because the country had a bad law, once an elder reached 80 years of age, they must be thrown into the mountains to feed the crows for saving food. After working hard for most of her life, she could not enjoy any comforts. Instead, he had to abandon his own mother. The farmer was heartbroken. Suddenly, he heard a sound of a branch breaking. He turned around and saw his mother was breaking branches and throwing them on the ground. Before her death, she was still afraid her son might get lost on his way, so she used small branches as markers for the path down the mountain. This was her final act of helping her child. The farmer couldn't hold back his tears. Even though he was the greatest filial son in the village, he dared not go against the law set by the emperor. When they reached the mountaintop, the mother quickly came out from the carrying frame and spread the straw mat on the ground. They looked at each other, but no words. The farmer tightly held his mother's hands and refused to leave, but the mother urged him to go down the mountain quickly. The farmer knew that he would never see her again. In the next life, he promised to be filial to his mother. With heavy steps, he walked down the mountain. Tears soaked his face. His mind was blank, and in a moment of distraction, he tripped on a stone and fell to the ground. As the weather worsened, bitter snowflakes began to fall. The whole land seemed to be crying, seemingly complaining about the injustice of fate. At that moment, the farmer also thought of his mother. How could she endure such harsh weather? So he quickly threw off the carrying frame and decisively ran back to the mountaintop. He saw his old mother sitting on the straw mat, praying for him, hoping he would live well. The snowflakes soaked through his ragged clothes. The farmer ran to his mother, carried her and ran toward home. If he couldn't take care of her in her old age, then what was the meaning of living? He would never abandon his mother again. They ran down the mountain and returned home. To avoid being found by the villagers, the farmer had to hide his mother in a cellar. Every day, he used a rope to send food down to her. In the daytime, he worked in the fields as usual, but the happy time did not last long. One day, an announcement came from the village. The county magistrate ordered the villagers to make ropes with mud and lime. If they didn't complete the task, the county would confiscate the village's farmland. The farmer was very anxious. Making ropes with mud and lime was impossible, but when he was sending food to his mother, she noticed something was wrong and asked what happened. The farmer had no choice but to tell her about the issue. His mother told him he could soak the ropes in salt water, then burn them with a strong fire. The ropes would retain their original shape. The farmer received a reward from the county magistrate for his success. He happily handed the reward to his mother. Unexpectedly, the magistrate came up with a new rule. People were required to thread a rope through curved bamboo. His mother told him to tie the silk thread to a spider's rear end and let it crawl out from the bamboo. The thread could pass through easily. The county magistrate was impressed by the farmer's wisdom. He asked him how he came up with such a brilliant idea. The farmer said they were his mother's advices. When the old emperor in the capital heard about this, he realized that old people still had value, so he abolished the bad law. The farmer would no longer have to part with his mother, and their happy life continued.